I thought my sister wanted to reconcile, but she just needed a babysitter. My older sister Paulina and I hadn't spoken a single word in 4 entire years after she told me I was completely dead to her for refusing to lend her money to bail out her deadbeat boyfriend from jail. She said some truly cruel and unforgivable things during that fight, and I finally had enough of her manipulation and blocked her everywhere. It was honestly the healthiest decision I had ever made for myself. Then 3 weeks ago, she showed up unexpectedly at my apartment door, sobbing uncontrollably. She said she had been doing intensive therapy and finally realized how terribly she had treated me over the years. She apologized sincerely for absolutely everything and said she desperately wanted to rebuild our relationship because family was the most important thing in life. I really should have been much more suspicious of her sudden change, but I wanted so badly to have my sister back in my life. I invited her inside and we talked openly for hours. She told me all about her life now. She had 2 young kids, a 5-year-old daughter and a 3-year-old son, and had finally left her toxic boyfriend for good. She was working 2 exhausting jobs to support them financially and trying to go back to school to better their future. I was genuinely proud of her for apparently getting her life together after so many years. Over the next 2 weeks, she came over to my apartment constantly. She brought the kids along and they were absolutely adorable and sweet. We had dinner together and watched movies, and it honestly felt like we were actually becoming a real family again after all those painful years apart. Then she casually asked if I could watch the kids next Saturday while she worked a double shift. Of course, I immediately said yes because I wanted to help. That one Saturday quickly turned into every single Saturday. Then Tuesdays and Thursdays got added to the schedule as well. Then she started asking for overnight stays because her shifts ran too late for her to pick them up. Within just 1 month, I was watching her 2 kids almost every single day completely for free while she worked and supposedly attended night classes for her degree. I was genuinely happy to help my sister at first, but I was falling seriously behind on my own work projects and completely exhausted all the time from the constant childcare. When I tried to carefully bring up the idea of maybe finding a regular paid babysitter, she would immediately start crying and say I was the only person in the entire world she truly trusted with her children, and she couldn't afford to pay anyone else right now. I started noticing she never mentioned therapy anymore and got extremely defensive whenever I asked about her progress with it. Last Friday, absolutely everything fell apart spectacularly. I was supposed to watch the kids that evening, but I had an unexpected work emergency and told her apologetically that I couldn't do it just this one time. She completely exploded on me like I had never seen before. She screamed that I was incredibly selfish and that she always knew I would eventually abandon her just like I always do when things get difficult. She said the whole reconciliation thing was absolutely exhausting to maintain anyway, and she was so tired of pretending to care about my boring, pathetic life just to get free childcare from me. I stood there in complete shock as the ugly truth spilled out of her mouth. She never actually went to therapy at all. She never genuinely wanted a real relationship with me. Her terrible boyfriend was back in the picture, and they needed someone reliable to watch the kids for free while they went out partying together. She had carefully planned the entire fake reconciliation after finding out through a mutual friend that I had recently moved to a bigger, nicer apartment and finally had a stable, well-paying job. I told her firmly to leave immediately and never contact me again for any reason. She laughed cruelly and said I would definitely come crawling back eventually because I was always desperate for family approval and validation and always had been my whole life. Those words hit so much harder than anything else because 4 years ago, they absolutely would have been completely true. But I had also done my own therapy during our time apart, and I finally knew my own worth now. I told her calmly that I spent 4 long years learning to live happily without her approval, and I could easily spend the rest of my entire life doing the exact same thing. She grabbed her kids roughly and stormed out calling me horrible names the entire way down the hallway. I blocked her on everything again that same night. This time I felt nothing but pure relief because I finally understood that some family bonds are simply better left permanently broken. The loving sister I had mourned for 4 painful years never actually existed at all. She was just wearing a convincing mask until she finally got exactly what she wanted from me.